G'day, how are you? In this segment, I will be covering categorisation of firearms. The first thing I'll be covering will be Rimfire and Centerfire, which is a main categorisation that's used in Australia and in Queensland, where we are, for categorisation of firearms between A and B, is mainly with Centerfire and Rimfire. I'll be covering category A and B, which is used for the most common licence, recreational hunting on rural lands and sports target shooting. Category C and D, occupational use and commercial fisher for category C. Also shooting with a special licence for sports target shooting with disability under category C. Category H, pistol licence, concealable. I'll be covering that and what is a category H firearm. And category M, miscellaneous, crossbow, category R, and category E, which is bulletproof vest. I haven't got a bulletproof vest to show you because I can't own a bulletproof vest, but that is category E. I'll go through each category and I'll show you what firearm is in what category. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me when you come to the course. And the main idea with the video, after the course, you might forget the category. They are confusing. You might be finding a firearm, putting your permit to acquire in. You can look back and you'll know what category your firearm's in for your permit to acquire. I look forward to seeing you on the course. Thank you. So when we talk about categorisation of firearms, this is the main categorisation difference. So when I said Rimfire and Centerfire, all the category A firearms, when I say Rimfire, this is what it means. It fires a cartridge like this one here on the left. Anywhere that cartridge can be struck on the outside edge of the rim of this cartridge is a Rimfire cartridge because it gets struck on the outside edge of the rim of the cartridge. But on a high-powered rifle, like what we use for category B firearms, see how it's got the primer in the middle? This is a Centerfire cartridge. Centerfire, Rimfire. That is the major difference between the both of them. Category A. Any air rifle, whether it's pump action, semi-auto, or bolt action. If it runs on air and shoots a projectile, it is a category A firearm. They also make these that shoot a crossbow bolt as well. That is category A, air rifle. Bolt action, Rimfire. That is the bolt action system. Now under category A, there is no magazine capacity to category A. This magazine holds 5, I could put 10, I could put 15. There is no magazine capacity as long as it is a category A firearm. So any bolt action Rimfire is category A. Any Rimfire that is a pump action is category A. This is a 10-shot Browning pump action. That is a category A firearm because it is a Rimfire pump action. Lever action Rimfire. This one holds 15 rounds in the magazine. Any Rimfire that is a lever action, you can remember the actions in my previous video. If it's a lever action Rimfire, category A. Any break action shotgun or break action Rimfire is category A. No matter how many barrels it's got, one barrel, double barrel or triple barrel, if it's a break action like this and it's a shotgun or a Rimfire, it is a category A firearm. Now this is the straight pull that I showed you before. The straight pull or the button release goes under as a bolt action shotgun, like a bolt action Rimfire, so it's category A. So that system is category A, and that's why you can buy these with the bigger magazine, because it is a category A firearm. There is no magazine restrictions or capacity on Category A if it's a straight pull or button release firearm. The other Category A firearms that I didn't cover is the powerhead and the cannon. I don't own a powerhead or a cannon. Powerhead is a small device, it's about this long, and it can be unscrewed, put a shotgun round or a rifle round, and it's used for spear fishing or on a jabbing stick. Once it hits an object, it will go off. The powerhead, that is a Category A firearm. The cannon, but the cannon has to be a miniature cannon. 1200, that's like nearly that long. 1200 mil has to be a miniature cannon, can't be any longer in the barrel than 1200 mil. And paintball guns. Paintball guns are also a Category A firearm. So that's all the Category A firearms. Now I'll move over to Category B. Now I'll cover Category B firearms. Category B, once it's a centerfire, it's Category B. Now there is a magazine restriction with Category B firearms. You are only allowed a 10-shot magazine capacity if it has a detachable magazine. So a magazine like the old bolt-action rifle, it can come in and out. If it's a detachable magazine, 10-round magazine capacity. This lever-action Marlin has a tube magazine, which is a fixed magazine, which allows you 15 rounds under Category B. So if it's Category B, 15 rounds for tube magazine or fixed magazine and 10 shots for detachable magazine. So any lever action firearm that is centerfire is a Category B firearm. Any pump action rifle, I had the pump before, I was showing you with a 22, but I don't own a centerfire pump action. If that was a centerfire, it would be Category B. Now, with shotguns, a straight pull, like I was explaining to you before, is Category A. But if it is a lever action, that system, and it's a shotgun, it's a Category B. And it must only have a magazine capacity of 5 rounds, no more. If it exceeds 5 rounds, it would be a Category D firearm. This is a bolt action centerfire. This is a bolt action 308. Any bolt action that is a centerfire is Category B. So any bolt action centerfire, any pump action, any lever action is Category B. Now with brake actions, like I showed you with the shotgun, if it is a centerfire, that then is a Category B firearm. Combination shotguns too, that's where you have a double barrel shotgun with an extra barrel with a centerfire rifle in it. That firearm would then become a Category B firearm because it has a centerfire. So that's everything that I have here for these actions in Category B, and I'll show you the muzzle loader next. Muzzle loading firearms. Any firearm that is a muzzle loading firearm where you have to load from the top with the powder, the projectile, and then ram it home like that, that is a Category B firearm. Now that's all the Category A and B firearms that I've shown you, which normal everyday shooters can get with a normal license under sports target shooting or recreational shooting of rural lands. Now I'll move on to Category C. Category C is any semi-automatic shotgun or any semi-automatic rimfire rifle that holds no more than 5 shots in the magazine for a shotgun, 10 shots for the rimfire. This is a semi-automatic shotgun. This one holds 3 shots in the magazine tube plus 1 in the chamber. Because it holds under 5 and under, it is a Category C firearm. So any semi-automatic shotgun, no more than 5 rounds in the magazine, is Category C. If it was a pump action shotgun, 5 rounds, no more than 5, Category C. If it is over 5, it's Category D. This is This is probably one of the most common semi-automatic 22s you'll see. This is the Ruger 1022 carbine. It is a 10-shot magazine capacity. It has a box magazine that's under here, which makes it category C. If I was to put a bigger magazine in it, it would be now a category D firearm. Any rimfire that holds no more than 10 rounds is category C. Who can own category C? Category C can be owned by any primary producer or rural employee or professional shooter, aerial shooter, or a commercial fisherman can own category C. There is a small group that have category C under the Weapons Act of sports target shooting, but only for clay target shooting on an approved clay target range. You have to go to a doctor, get a medical exemption to say you have a physical lack of strength and dexterity, and then you are eligible to own a category C shotgun for clay target shooting with only 2 shots ever loaded into the firearm. That is category C. This is a pump action shotgun with a 7-round magazine capacity in the tube. Because it holds over 5, this is now category D. Category D is the most restricted category of all. It's the highest category. It has any pump action or semi-automatic shotgun that holds more than 5 rounds magazine capacity, any rimfire 22 with more than 10 round magazine capacity, and any Centerfire semi-automatic rifle, whether it is military or non-military style. If it is a Centerfire semi-automatic, Cat D. Shotgun over 5 rounds, pump or semi-auto, Cat D. And any rimfire over 10 rounds. That's the category D firearms. Now, who can own category D? Primary producers, rural employees, and professional shooters. Must be occupational purposes. Must have a genuine need and have a proof and show proof of feral animal destruction, that they need to have quick follow-up humane shots to kill an animal humanely. It is obtainable, you can get it, but you just got to jump through the hoops and explain an absolute genuine need to have category D firearms. Category H firearms are the concealable firearms. Any firearm that is under 750mm from tip to toe. A category H must never be 750 or above. It must be under. In this hand, this is a semi-automatic Rimfire 22. That is a category H firearm that any pistol shooter that's part of a pistol club, does all of their legal requirements, can legally own. In this hand, this is a semi-automatic rimfire rifle. Now, because it is over 750mm from tip to toe, it is not a category H firearm. I've put a zip tie on this firearm to show you something. Between this yellow zip tie and this white zip tie is exactly 750mm. So they do make a rifle out there for pistol shooters to comply with Australia's regulations, so it's perfectly legal. This semi-automatic 22 could be legal to own as a pistol shooter, but not in this state because it's too long. If the stock was cut off here when manufactured, right, between that zip tie and the barrel was cut shorter to there, that firearm would no longer be a category C firearm anymore. It would be perfectly legal to own as a category H firearm because it's under 750mm. As long as it's no longer from tip to toe, that is a category H firearm. And it must not have a magazine that exceeds 10 rounds. All category H firearms must never have a magazine that exceeds 10 rounds. There is 4 classes of category H. Anything under the 750 is category H, but there's 4 classes. All handguns are divided into 4 separate classes. The first class is Class A, which is any air pistol. So if it runs on air, shoots a projectile, and it's under the 750, it is a Class A, Category H firearm. Then there's Class D, which is the next class, any rimfire. We all know what rimfire and centerfire means now. No matter whether it's a semi-automatic or a revolver, like this one I'm holding here. Any revolver that is a rimfire, whether it's single action or double action, if it's a rimfire, it is a Class D Category H firearm. Semi-automatic rimfire. Any Category H rimfire is Class D. Then the next class is Class B, which is any centerfire that is up to 38 caliber. That includes 357, 9mm, 38 Super, 32, 25 auto. All those calibers are Class B because they are under 38. This is a 9mm. That is Class B. The 357 Magnum or 38, because that is a revolver and it's 38 caliber, that is Class B. Also, under Class B, any muzzle loading Category H firearm is a Class B. Now, with a muzzle loading firearm, there is no caliber restriction, so the 38 caliber doesn't apply once it's a muzzle loading firearm. It could be any diameter, as long as it's muzzle loading or percussion cap and ball. So that's all the firearms in Class B with Category H. Now I'll cover Class C Category H's. Now, Class C is any centerfire over 38 up to 45 caliber. This is a 45 ACP, which makes that a Class C Category H firearm because it has a bore diameter over 38 but under 45 and under. This is a 44 Magnum. 44 Magnum is 44 caliber, so that also is Class C. Who can have Class C? Class C is called the restricted class, but you can have it as long as you shoot the 2 accredited matches, metallic silhouette and single action shooting. They are the 2 accredited events that you must do to shoot to own these. You can get an endorsement letter from your club after or while applying for your license. And once you go shooting at the club will teach you all the requirements about the pistol laws, because there's quite a lot to remember and learn, but you'll learn them on your way with doing your shoots and your participations that you have to do at the club. Category M. Category M crossbow. If you want to own a crossbow, you'll have to be part of an archery club that is certified to have crossbows on it, or recreational shooting of rural lands, but the property must be 20 acres and over to get your license. Category M crossbow. And then the other part of Category M is the other miscellaneous items like nunchucks, flick knives, butterfly knives. All of that is more for collectors, or if you were part of a martial arts club, for historical or reenactment use for the miscellaneous weapons. And the other category that I didn't have here to show you, which is Category E. Category E is bulletproof vests. And Category R is for restricted items such as machine guns, rocket launchers, bazookas, but they can only be owned for collection purposes, and they have to be permanently inoperable. They have to be completely welded up, firing pins removed, action welded, barrel welded, and locked up fully in a steel safe, not on display. And that is Category R firearms. Thank you. That's all the categories. I hope you learned something from it.